Good evening from Washington, D.C. Thank you to those of you joining me for news from a Catholic perspective. I'm Lauren Ashburn. Theodore McCarrick, the former Archbishop of Washington, is no longer a cardinal. He was stripped of his title. The now Archbishop McCarrick resigned Friday night after multiple allegations of sexual abuse over a period of more than 50 years came to light. The Vatican ordered McCarrick to a life of prayer and penance until the accusations are examined in a church trial. Pope Francis also ordered the former cardinal to stay in seclusion. McCarrick served as Archbishop of Washington from 2000 to 2006 and served in Newark and New York. He is the first cardinal to resign in nearly 100 years. In 2002, then Cardinal McCarrick was a leading voice in the church's response to the sexual abuse crisis in the U.S. The Bishops' Conference ultimately issued a charter designed to protect minors from clergy sex abuse. 2 years later, the John Jay College of Criminal Justice reported 4% of U.S. priests faced allegations of sexual abuse between 1950 and 2002. This is the time frame of the alleged abuse by former Cardinal McCarrick. Vatican correspondent Juliet Linley joins us from Rome with the latest. Juliet, Pope Francis was under pressure. He acted swiftly. What is the Holy See telling the press?
Lauren, Vatican spokesman Greg Burke told Reuters TV on Saturday the Pope wanted to send a powerful message. Here's what he said.
The important point is that McCarrick is no longer a cardinal. What this means is that no matter how important your position, no matter how prestigious, when it comes to sex abuse, you are going to be held accountable. That's the message being sent today.
So there you have it, Lauren. Zero tolerance for clergy sex abuse, no matter how important the accused person is.
Juliet, for those who have not been following the case, let's talk about the details of the accusations against McCarrick and how he has responded.
In June, the Archdiocese of New York announced that credible and substantiated allegations were being investigated into McCarrick's alleged abuse of a teenager nearly 50 years ago. Now, the victim's details are not being made public. Law enforcement in New York is also investigating the allegations, the Archdiocese is telling people. But, Lauren, other alleged victims have come forth saying that they too were abused sexually by McCarrick, who's now 88 years old. And it's been reported that settlements were reached with adults regarding previous allegations when he served as bishop in 2 New Jersey cities. Now, Lauren, McCarrick says he has no recollection of the abuse 50 years ago involving the altar boy, and he's declined comment on the new allegations, but he has promised to cooperate with the process.
Put this into perspective for us over the history of the church. When has this happened, if it has happened?
Lauren, McCarrick is the highest-ranking American clergy member to ever be barred from ministry on sex abuse allegations. He's the first cardinal to resign from the College of Cardinals since 1927. Now, in 2015, Cardinal Keith O'Brien of Scotland, as you may remember, renounced the rights and the privileges of being a cardinal after being accused of sexual misconduct. But O'Brien didn't officially leave the College of Cardinals. O'Brien gave up those rights 2 years after he stepped down as Archbishop of Edinburgh in the face of the allegations.
From Australia to Chile, the sex abuse crisis has dominated the headlines of this papacy. It has been a very difficult year for Francis. He's facing many of these crises around the world.
Lauren, that's right. Just today, Pope Francis accepted the resignation of an Australian archbishop convicted in criminal court of covering up the sex abuse charges, the sexual abuse of children by a priest. And it comes after mounting pressure from ordinary Catholics, priests, and even the Australian Prime Minister. Now, Archbishop Philip Wilson of Adelaide was convicted in May of failing to report to police the repeated abuse of 2 altar boys by a paedophile priest. And there's also the ongoing trial of Cardinal George Pell, a close advisor to the Pope, a bishop in Honduras, closely connected to another papal advisor, Cardinal Oscar Rodriguez Maradiga, also resigned in a sexual and financial scandal. And the church in Chile is having its own crisis, Lauren. In May, Francis received the resignations of Chilean bishops in the face of a massive scandal involving accusations of cover-up. Lauren.
We will be on this story and continue in-depth coverage on it. Juliet Linley, EWTN News Nightly Vatican correspondent. Thank you.
Thank you, Lauren.